long left Tinubu's cabinet for Senate plus other political intrigues. NNPC Limited delivering Port Harcourt refinery, and that's on page 6.
All right, the Standard Times has the leading story, Guba. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Kano. Bauchi Tazel fixes January 15 for Rivers hearing. Federal government appoints new directors for aviation agencies.
Leadership this Friday, Obaze report may worsen Emefiele's woes. Alleges former CBN governor operated 593 foreign accounts without authorization. Manipulated exchange rate, says 17.4 trillion naira, ways and means unaccounted for. 543.482 million pounds kept in fixed deposits in UK. Tunde Sabiu, originator of Naira redesign.
Port Harcourt refinery finally begins operations, the Nigerian pilot leads with, and he says Senate confirms Tinubu's 11 Supreme Court justices.
This Nigeria's unemployment rate rises to 4.2% in second quarter 2023. NBS, 88% of employed Nigerians, primarily self-employed, only 12% engaged as employees. Emefiele, special investigator, submits damning report to President, validates this Nigeria exclusive story of November 20th.
The Daily Sun, same-sex marriage is how the paper leads this morning. Nigerian Catholic bishops tackle Pope, says blessing man-man, woman-woman marriage against God's law, cultural sensibilities of nation. Port Harcourt refinery begins production after Christmas break. Federal government says announces mechanical completion on page 2.
And People's Daily is looking as Naira scarcity lingers. Reps call on POS operators to stop selling currency notes. Urge CBN to probe banks' operation, and that's on page 6. You also want to see there Kano Guba Supreme Court reserves ruling on Yusuf's appeal, and that's on page 2.
The Daily Asset, also leading with the Port Harcourt refinery story, says it commences of production after Yuletide. Lokobiri. Dangote receives second consignment. Senate confirms 11 Supreme Court justices, suspected Fulani militants. Also, I didn't get the end of that story there.
All right, let's see first news and call it here. It says $11 billion judgment. Finally, London court kneels PNID's coffin, quashes appeal against Nigeria. And then also look at that story on ex-Rivers Commissioner accuses Tinubu of threatening, imposing Aso Rock resolution on Fubara. I want to be distracted despite challenges. That's coming from Rivers Governor.
The Daily Times chose to lead with a different story this morning. It says, bandit kills man for refusing him marriage to daughter at gunpoint, forces husband to divorce her. A sad one there. Benue APC NAS caucus turn-up heat on Alia, accused governor of clannishness. I'm in a meeting, says governor spokesman.
Those two constables that costed that Dutch tourist on the way have just been moved from service. But let's look at Nigeria News Direct. Nigeria's monthly expenditure declines to 1.3 trillion naira as fiscal deficit hits 727 billion naira. Out of school children, we're engaging state governments to tackle bottlenecks hindering success of UBEC funds coming from federal government.
Low turnout, lack of cash, federal government's 50% discount for travelers. 5 million commuters targeted for support, according to Information Minister. 5 companies approved for logistics, returns to Regasa train station. CBN investigator uncovers 593 foreign accounts opened by Emefiele.
And the blueprint says federal government in Nigeria is let's move into 2024 with hope. Unveils gains of Tinubu's economic security reforms, assures on Naira availability. And then you also want to look at that story, Hajj 2024, Cardinal Agency urges intending pilgrims to register by 30th. But that story on refinery in Port Harcourt is bottom page story.
Let's check out the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu reintroduces school feeding education ministry to take charge. Federal government vows to return 15 million out-of-school children to classroom by 2027, says no condition attached to payment of 4 months withheld salaries to ASU on page 12. Akiwumi Adesina wins 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Prize for Leadership. Anyoko Adebanjo wants leaders to emulate Awo. On page 4.
New Telegraph, Nigeria going through very tough times, but we can fix it. And that's coming from Medu. On page 2, 3, and 5, unemployment rose by 4.2% in second quarter. NBS speaks on that. Nigerians will reap gains of Tinubu's reforms in 2024. Telecom service will be better next year. NCC passengers to get 25% rebate for delayed, cancelled flights in 2024 coming from NCCA. And just above that, Naira depreciation worsens Nigeria's debt burden on page 25 against other stories that we have here. So let's come to the reviewers. Chukwusekun, well, you started the chalk thing, so maybe we'll just find out what interests you first of all on the front pages.
No, we'll start with the ipso facto, what I call ipso facto by the Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, that Nigerians are going through very tough times. I mean, we don't know him to tell us that, and that was the reason President Tinubu came with his renewed hope mantra. But I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the last 7 months have been the worst for Nigeria since independence. You know, we're chuckling backstage because each time the government comes up with these very funny policies, like Ezocha and I were discussing, some Nigerians less Nigerian than the others.
Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our latest video.